Welcome to Make It Make Sense podcast. We're back. We're live. We
live.
Two of us.
Just two of us.
Got some, switched up the setup again, switched up the cameras again, and giving you guys a new look. There's only two of us here today, so we're only going to be utilizing like 3 cameras. But that being said, welcome to tonight's episode. We are going to keep it nice and short and sweet and have some fun, do some teaching, and if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to tap in and ask away, because my goal here is to make sure that relationship-wise, 2024, we can get things back on track. We can get things back to a better rhythm of how things are supposed to go. I don't care if you don't believe in them, but gender roles are fucking real. And things work a lot better when people are in their roles. For instance, this one right here is reading a book called Keys to the Kingdom. And she can give you a little bit more of some insight about what it's about and how it can help a lot of people who are struggling to make relationships go smoothly, fix some things. And then I will tap in on how you as a man can, should, and need to improve yourself so that your relationships and your dealings with business, men, women, and everything run a lot smoother. Because at the end of the day, as a man, if you are not performing, no one gives a fuck. If you are a loser, the world will show you very quickly, and no one cares, because as a man, you were only loved conditionally. You must bring something to the table in order to have value. And yeah. So with that being said, babe, tap in. Tell them what this book is about.
Okay. I think this episode too will be like make it make sense, but also in an aspect where you're gonna be tapping in and making things make sense.
It's me.
Yeah. Because it's like based off of your experience as a man.
The book is based off of my experience as a man?
No, the book is more so for women to read to understand men. And basically this book was referred to me by my mentor. And typically my mentor gives me books to read for like success or personal development. But this book was a surprise because it's more so about like leaning into your feminine energy and how to understand men. And I think that's a huge key that women miss with this whole like lean into your feminine energy and be more feminine. And yeah, so this book, Keys to the Kingdom, is about... Why do you always have to do 1,000 fucking things while I'm trying to talk? I'm like so distracted right now.
Go back to what you're doing. Don't you worry about me.
That's all I do is worry about you.
Go ahead.
So this book is essentially every woman in this family lineage who turns 16 gets passed down this knowledge about men. And all of the women in the family have the middle name Keys. And when they, quote unquote, graduate or become women at like the age of 16, they get passed down this knowledge. However, there is a grandmother who has passed it to her daughter, but the daughter has decided not to tell her daughter about it. So this grandmother feels as though this information is going to die with her because it's not going to be spread on from her daughter to her granddaughter. Just thinking about the times that we're in right now, feminine energy is low key hard to come by. I feel like men are more feminine or men are more soft and women are more hard. So this grandmother ends up wanting to pass on this information and meets up with like a middle-aged woman who is having trouble in her marriage. And so she's like, let's have coffee dates, let's meet up so that I can tell you all about this knowledge. But the only thing is that you can't hold it against men. And essentially she's talking about the developmental stages of men and how to understand men as a woman and become better, not only for them, but, you know, for yourself. Because essentially, if you understand a person, you're going to also get what you want from said man. So the thing that I wanted to talk about is the developmental stages. And I also wanted to kind of pick your brain about these stages and if you have any experiences with them or like where you think you're at.
Me personally?
Yeah.
Okay. Go for it.
Since you got your degree and you know every fucking thing.
Anyways. But yeah, we're just gonna get really real right now. So there are 5 stages of men. And so if you understand the stages, then you can understand what stage a man that you're interested in is at. And if they're where you, like the compatibility is there with what they have to offer or where their mind is at, where their heart is at, etc. So the first stage is a page, which is birth to puberty. And I looked up what puberty is and it says 10 to 14. So what a page is like a wannabe knight. And these boys crave adventure. So
Okay.
you have a son who is in that age range.
He's not 10.
Birth to puberty.
Oh, my bad.
So this is the stage where you should really be encouraging these boys to be adventurous, but also there's examples in the book where it's like, can you help me lift this? Or you start seeing boys act out at this age if they can't be adventurous. And I feel like a lot of people in this day and age are like softening boys. They're like, no, don't do anything. Don't get hurt. Don't get bruises. I mean, there's a lot of kids that are just on electronics and not really going outside to like get a scrape, you know, like it's like throw some dirt on it. You're going to be fine. But these boys essentially crave adventure. And the way that they thrive is when people ask for help or people in a classroom setting, usually boys will act out if they feel like there is no need for them. So if they're just like ignored in class or pushed aside instead of like, hey, can you help me lift this heavy table? Or boys, which one can run the fastest? Like the competition is, you know,
fierce.
They're wannabe knights, right? So then the next stage is knights, which is puberty until late to early 30, late 20s to early 30s.
Damn.
Yeah. So I think that's a huge part that women need to understand is that in the developmental stages, a lot of the men that you're interested in are still in this knight stage, which is where they have a drive for adventure, fun, challenge, and passion. So if you take that age range into consideration, let's just say that puberty ends at 14, right? Mm-hmm. So puberty until late 20s to early 30s is 15 to 32 ish.
Okay.
Right? So this is when they just want to like go out to the club. Maybe they're, you know, experiencing sexual things or, you know, having a lot of fun where they have like a job or they went to school or they're whatever they're doing, right? There's still challenge and passion in what they're doing, but it's not really taken seriously, right? Like if you think of a knight, they're still like on a horse with a fucking sword going after another dude because they have nothing to lose. Like if they get fucking killed on that horse. It's not like they're leaving anything behind. It's just them, solo. So then the next stage is the prince, but there's actually 3 like subcategories to this. So that's where I want to pick your brain, because you are
Prince in it.
36. So this is the stage that you essentially should be at. So it's early 30s to your 40s. And that first stage, I'm like, I took notes, because what's that meme? Like, joke's on you, because I can't make a long story short. So
Look, I balanced the can.
So cool. You're so distracting. You're
Get it together.
You're like a knight right now. I'm getting it together. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The early prince is where he wants to build, and he wants to find a line of work that fits, and he may know this instantly or go through trial and error. And so basically how this comes about is one day this knight that we talked about notices that he's not a king yet, and he begins that prince stage. And he becomes painfully aware of this and notices what he is not. Do you remember a time where you kind of realized like you're not a king yet, like it's not just about you, you want to leave something behind, whether that be like a legacy, a last name, you want more for yourself? Defining and creating yourself is basically what this stage starts.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that for me came around 26 years old. Like, that's when I felt like I was most confident in my career. Not most confident, I'm most confident now. But that I was thriving in my career and that I wanted to pass on or build a legacy, make a legacy, and have children. Mm-hmm. So I did it. And
Bingo.
Yeah, and that's been going good since, but
yeah, so late 20s to early 30s is when that starts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then what?
So then the next stage is... Oh, so the prince, so it says that this stage only lasts for a few minutes or many years. The early prince stage.
Okay.
So that's when you're like, holy shit, I need to get my shit together. I need to build a legacy. And it could last a few minutes where you're like, let me do this. And then they embark on a career where you want to build or a line of work that fits you. Many will know instantly or go through trial and error. So do you feel like your early prince stage lasted a few minutes or a few years? I feel like it didn't last that long because I feel like you knew you wanted to be a barber, and so like you stuck it out with school and you started to be really consistent, and then you just built and like locked in with that.
Yeah, I mean, as a man, I understand. I had to learn the hard way. So I mean, a lot of what I talk about on here, either now doesn't apply to me. I understand that I don't live a normal, average man's lifestyle. Even when I was in that night stage, if you will, I haven't had much of a problem when dealing with women, whether I was broke or where I'm at now. But I did realize that at some point that women have a short time frame of how much they're willing to put up with from a man if he's not providing, delivering, building or going somewhere. They're attracted to ambition, but ambition doesn't mean shit without action and planning and execution. So some men, if they are meeting other requirements that women are attracted to, will have a longer leash on how long they have to get their shit together. But it was being thrown out of the house at 18 and realizing don't nobody owe you shit, don't nobody give a fuck about you, and people's kindness only goes so far, that I realized you have to make something of yourself in order to be respected and in order to achieve and get the things that you want out of life, out of business, out of careers, out of friends, out of women, out of life by putting in the work. Your goal as a man, in my personal opinion, is to become the best that you can be financially, physically, mentally, spiritually, and serve, basically. You need to do it. It made me realize that I need to go out there and get it in order for anybody to want to enjoy it with me. Otherwise, you're just another body around that no one notices. And yeah, so I don't think that early Prince stage lasted very long. It was like, hey, you ain't shit right now, and if you want good things out of life, you need to become something. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was get to it, get it going, and go from there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The middle Prince stage.
I rambled a little. I was over there.
Have you ever had a dream that
Just a little bit. The next stage of Prince is the middle Prince, and this lasts about 10 to 12 years.
Damn.
And this is when they build their career and they have an urgency to progress, and they want to establish themselves and feel driven. And this is when they get upset about any setbacks that they have. And they have very little attention for anything outside of that. So, mind you, the Prince or the night stage is from puberty until early 20s or late 20s to early 30s. So if this part lasts 10 to 12 years, this is your early 30s until your 40s.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, most millionaires in this country, it starts around 37, about 46 years old. So that's when most men become the most successful.
And the part that I want to reiterate is that it says that these men have little attention for anything outside of building their career or the urgency to establish themselves. So there's two ways that they can go about this. They can either find a partner to build with during that time, or they can first have the castle as a king and then go find you a queen. But what a man needs from a woman, if they decide to have a partner to build with during this time, is trusting them, and knowing that they're going in the same direction, and someone who will help them succeed in building their kingdom.
Did you ask me a question?
No. Middle princes can't pay attention to everything in a woman's life. And so it says that mistakes that these women make is that they test men with holidays or anniversaries or birthdays and remembering all of her preferences in her life, and also kind of testing him like, okay, well, if he doesn't call me by this day, or if he doesn't text me by this day, or if I text him about this on Wednesday, then he needs to know about our weekend plans, which in the book, it talks about women are multitaskers anyways and men aren't. So if their mind is on work for the week, they're not thinking about their Saturday plans. And so they kind of compared it to like a computer system. So like on a computer, there's like RAM. Like how much RAM you have is how many tabs you can basically have open on your computer at the same time, or how many apps you can have, or whatever, right? Storage. So all of this middle prince's RAM is taken up by what he's building, and he can't always keep the women's tab open. When he's done with it for the week or he's done with it for the day, then he can open up the women's tab. And women are like pop-ups on computers, and the men want them to be happy pop-ups and not viruses. And I wrote that because I'm like, obviously they don't want them to be like annoying ones that are taking over their computer. I'm like, look, girl, we really took these notes. I know, like, where are we? Okay, this is the part, because we have to remember what ages I said for this one. I said that this is your early 30s for 10 to 12 years. Late 20s to early 30s for 10 to 12 years, right? So say that he does choose a partner to build with, even though he's not a king yet. He wants to give said woman or women this kingdom that he's building. Middle princes need his woman to be happy with what he can provide now and not just material things. A partner to a prince is someone they need to understand that they're not going to get unlimited time. And this limited time that they do have, or the attention that they do have on them, needs to be enough. And also, these women should be making him feel successful with her and believing in him. And these princes, middle princes, need praise and admiration.
Sensational.
Men are focused and appreciate the mundane things, even if they don't say thank you. So in the book, they're talking about men needing clean underwear, clean socks, and like lunch made. Like those are the mundane things that are like sometimes women get super bitter about like, oh, well, you didn't say thank you. But the reason why they're in this middle prince stage is because they're like violently aware that they're not amounted to everything that they could be. And so when they go about their day, of course they're appreciative and they should be like loving the person that they're building with, but love isn't always through words. And I think a lot of women, even myself, I used to, fall in love with words and not actions. And if this man is choosing you to be there to be a beneficiary of the kingdom that he's building, I think that being someone that's helping him to be successful is like a no-brainer. But anywho'ser, what's the next one? So then there's the king, which I haven't really gotten to all of it yet, but the king is in his 40s. And then the fifth stage is like an elder. But I did want to talk about this part right here.
Tell them about it.
Okay, so some of because in the book, this grandmother is talking to this lady who's having marital problems and trying to help her to understand or get through them because she doesn't want to get a divorce. And what she talks to her about is that women will lose themselves. And what we do is we contort ourselves to please men by becoming what we think that they want. And then one day we wake up empty. Even though typically men will encourage them to have their own hobbies, whether it's like gardening or go to the gym or, do something that makes you happy. But we get in our heads and we're like, well, what do I need to be for them? What do I think men want? Instead of men are like really simple creatures. Like they're going to tell you straight up, like, this is what I want. This is what I don't want. It's women who usually dance around what they want. Like when it's like, hey, what do you want from Chipotle? don't get me anything. And then you come back with nothing. And it's like, why would you get me nothing? Like we're dancing around.
Right.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Or we say we want nothing for our birthday, or we say it doesn't matter, or everything is fine when everything isn't fine.
Stop it. Get some help.
But what we should do is keep something in our lives so that we don't lose ourselves, and something that's like a passion for our own individuality. And this is so what a strength is for women is that we can adapt. Society would not have evolved the way it has if women didn't adapt.
So that was a fucking lie.
But our weakness, are you ready for this?
Go for it.
Can you guess what our weakness is?
This.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Our weakness is having a sense of self.
The hell does that mean?
Men have strong senses of who they are and who they want to be, who they're becoming. And women have a weakness because we don't feel like we have that sense of self. Like we're always like, who am I outside of this? Or who am I in this relationship? Who am I to be a friend or a wife or a person? And we lose ourselves in certain situations or relationships because we're becoming and contorting ourselves to be what we think the other person needs us to be, instead of being a partner, being like doing the things that they're super simple. And so the way to not lose yourself is to literally have your own life, like have hobbies, because that's when men actually miss you. Like you have like a coffee night or a coffee date with another woman, or you have like yoga, or you have something that is like you're away from the house, you come home, whether you share about it or not, but just something that is like not all up under him 24/7. But in this book, every time this grandma has an encounter with this woman, they go out for coffee after this yoga class. And what she says is, go home and talk to your husband about this and just listen. Like when he responds, just listen. Because I feel like no. The grandmother says that not a lot of women actually listen to men. But this book isn't to bash women, it's to actually empower women to understand men so that they have better relationships with them. And we understand what we actually want in relationships. And in today's day and age, I feel like a lot of women just want men to be the women that we think we need to be. And also princes, because princes are aware that they're not kings. Kings want to build kingdoms, and what a lot of women are doing today is actually becoming the prince that they're dating. They're becoming someone who's building said kingdom or building this boss babe empire and providing and feeling like their worth resides outside of the home or resides in someone else giving them a raise or someone else, I don't know, telling them their worth, instead of understanding your own worth as a woman and tapping into your feminine energy to understand yourself, to understand dynamics, to understand men.
What more do you want from me?
Well, thank you for that, babe.
How do you feel about it?
How do I feel about what?
Like, how do you feel about these stages so far?
It makes sense, and I do think most women should read this book. I think it should be more popular than it is. I think, just like it was referred to you, it should be referred to a bunch of women, because I don't think that they care right now about what men want. I don't think that they care what men want. I don't think that they...
You have to type in Allison Armstrong.
Yeah, I don't think that women care what men want. I don't think women give a damn about what men are attracted to. I don't think women today, anyway, want to be wives. I don't think that they want to be mothers. I think that they want to do a whole bunch of things that men have never really wanted to do themselves, but have no choice but to do because, like I said, there's no burden of performance for women. Women simply exist. Men see them. Men want them. And men are not asking for much in return, which is why they're trying to build a kingdom. So a wise woman treats her man like a king and marries a king, becomes a queen. A foolish woman treats her man like a slave and then marries the slave. That doesn't make any sense.
Damn.
And that's just where we're at today in society is women think that men should be attracted to the same things that women are attracted to. But that's not how we're built. That's not how we move. It's never been how we moved. And unfortunately, social media has just expanded the amount of exposure women get to, which caused this mass delusion in what women think that they deserve. I don't have any problem with anybody having standards on what they want from someone, but the problem is what they offer themselves. Most people are going into relationships today about going into it like, what can I get out of this person versus what can I give? Mm-hmm. And I don't think, I'm not going to say most men, I do think most men are trash. Most men fall short. Most men are inadequate. Most men don't fit the bill. But for the ones that do, at least most of it, 70%, 80% of what you're looking for, those men aren't common. And if you want something uncommon, you need to become uncommon to him, not uncommon like him. You need to be exceptional to him, not exceptional like him, because men do not care how much money you make. You know it because you've all seen men, whether they were broke, middle class, or rich. You've all seen those men hit on waitresses, bartenders, valet girls, fucking baristas. We don't care what you do for a living. We do not care how successful you are. That does not get our dick hard. That does not stand out amongst the things that we deem important. Because, again, you have your value. You have something that we want. You have something that only you can bring into the world for us to leave a legacy. And because we're so different, especially physically, we want to protect, we want to provide, majority of us. And all we ask for in return is to appreciate it, acknowledge it, that we're willing to die so that you can live. I mean, it's always been women and children first. And at the end of the day, society, like I said, society has just ruined so much shit with this social media on what people think is available. They think that exceptional shit is available for everyone, and it's not, and it never has been. But now that there's so much more exposure, you get a little taste of it and think that that's what you deserve. And I mean, it's just crazy to me because even with the amount of freedom that women have today to do whatever they please, there's still an out for damn near every poor choice a woman makes. And men just don't have that, right? We don't have 32 different types of birth control. We don't have government assistance unless we're disabled. We have to enlist to get our license that we will enter a draft. You know what I mean? Shit. You have unprotected sex, there's a Plan B pill. There's abortion, and you have all the rights to that. Men don't have any rights to that. If a man can't afford his kids, he has to go to jail. If a woman can't afford her kids, she gets WIC. Like, there's always a bailout. If you don't want to be in the marriage anymore, you're incentivized to leave. He has to pay alimony. You get half of everything, whether you helped him get it or not. So understand that your success doesn't turn us on. It's not like, oh wow, she's a doctor, I want to be with her. Doctors don't have no time for me. Why would I want to be with her? She's on call half the fucking time. We might be getting ready to go to bed and she has to go back into work. Like, it's good for you. And I'm not saying don't chase your dreams, but like, that's not what got us here. What got us here was men having to go out and do the work while women did the work at home, raised the children, and now we've got strangers raising our children in school. Both parties have to work because there's double the amount of workforce, so they raise the prices on everything. So now the economy's fucked up because supply and demand. There's a lot less of what we can provide, but there's double the buyers, so we're going to raise the prices. And no one wants to stay together because no woman wants to actually be a breadwinner. She doesn't mean she doesn't want to work, doesn't mean she doesn't want a career, but if she has the choice, she would love for her man to make more money than her. And that's fine. Men are totally fine with that, right? So when it comes to this keys to the kingdom stuff, it's like men have to spend so much time trying to become valuable, trying to become noticed, seen, heard, wanted, desired. Meanwhile, the whole time, you've been wanted, seen, heard, desired, given all kinds of things you didn't earn just because you're pretty. And
to be clear, the book is about women understanding men and not holding it against them, but so that we can make our own choices to choose the man, whether that be build with a prince who is wanting to become a king, to have a kingdom, to share it with a queen, or get with a king who is looking for a queen because he wanted to build by himself, or whatever the case is, but not knocking an early prince and trying to force him into a relationship when developmentally, like, you're not going to go take your 10-year-old child and tell them you need to be developmentally where I fucking say you should be and graduate high school tomorrow because I need you to be in college at this class at this time. Like, that's not developmentally how men work. And men and women are different. And maybe in this society, boys are becoming a lot softer, especially because they're not given the opportunities to be these knights where they get to explore being boys and getting dirty and getting hurt, and you know, where they're like, even in like, let's think about trades, because what I was thinking about today is like, I took home ec in junior high, but my mom, when she was in fucking school, they learned how to sew, they learned how to cook, they learned how to clean and shit, like, and men learned how to do like carpentry. Like,
this camera keep freezing?
When I was in junior high, they had like wood shops still, like with huge ass machines. I don't know if they still do that, maybe they do, and they have like EVIT and stuff where you can work on cars. But
yeah, but you have to have certain grades to even get accepted into those EVIT programs. Trades have fallen off because they don't want anybody independent. They want people working for them. This whole shit, it's so deeper than men and women.
Oh no, for sure.
It's this.
But these boys are soft because they're not given opportunities to step up and show their skills and their capabilities, and they're shut down for having adventures where they become so feminized at such a young age because they're soft, and they're wilding out.
But that's just because there's a lot less two-parent households now. And a lot of that is because women have the freedom to go into the workforce and not have to deal with a man that they don't like, and they have so many more options based on social media of men that seem better, and then they go out and realize that those men are no better either. They just sold them a dream and told them a bunch of shit that wasn't true, just so they could sleep with them. And then it's just a revolving door of that same thing, along with that child also being in this public school system where 75% of the staff is female. So they're getting more feminine ideals at school. They're having to deal with someone who's a lot less patient with their rowdiness, which is why so many boys, especially like, not just so many boys, but boys are disproportionately diagnosed with ADHD than girls are. And it's not that they're hyper and have attention problems. It's the simple fact that they're fucking boys and they need to move and do and play and learn and everything that you just said. But they're not allowed to do that because they need to sit still in class and focus on some shit that they're never going to use. But what choice do you have? Because there's no two-parent households no more. Most people can't afford to provide for a family where the woman can stay home and be involved in that kid's life and teach ideals that she believes in because she has to go work, right? So, and then just the emotional differences between males and females. It's real simple if you just observe, but I don't think most people are very fucking observant. I don't think most people give a shit. But I want to react to a couple of these videos and then get the fuck out of here. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it because we're already at 41 minutes.
All right. Let's see. Instagram. You seen this video?
There's two species of men now. There's a successful, high status a species of man that women date and then complain about because they have too many women and too many options. And then there's the rest of men that women don't even see. And I'm serious. Like, I've done this before where me and my girlfriend will go to like Jack in the Box or whatever in the middle of the night. And then afterwards we'll drive off and I'll be like, describe the cashier. And they don't remember a fucking thing because it was a man who was low status. He's a piece of furniture to most women. He doesn't matter. They just don't notice these men at all. But a guy in a Ferrari, I guarantee you she remembers that he had blue eyes. I promise you she does. Because that's the way it works. It's not that women are even like disregarding these men or like they're not dissing these men. They don't even notice these men exist. Like literally, they're not even acknowledging that the Filipino who's 5'5", who's their cashier at Walmart, that he's unattractive. They're not even acknowledging he's unattractive. They don't recognize he exists. There's two species of men now.
What do you think about that?
I mean, it's probably accurate. There's probably a lot of... We really don't notice something unless it is exceptional.
Well, shit, this is what I was just saying. People hate Pearl. I love her.
We live in a world where women
like
are
her.
bailed out of every single bad decision we make. If we want to sleep around, there's birth control. If birth control doesn't work, there's abortion. If the girl does get pregnant and wants to keep it, she can put the dude on child support and not let him see the kids. Like, what, a guy gets 6 days a month? Maybe, if he's lucky. On top of that, if that doesn't go well, you know, they can give it up for adoption. It's like women are always bailed out of every bad decision we make. I heard here they gave you free housing if you're a single mother. What incentive do we have to make good decisions if we get free shit from the government for making bad decisions?
Ooh. What do you think about that?
I don't think a lot of people are going to want to hear that.
Oh, shit. Where'd it go? What is this one?
A short list of how to keep your wife happy? What's that one? Above that driving one?
This one?
No, that one.
Let's see.
Always beautiful. Give her space. Don't give her space.
Oh, shit.
Why are we like this?
Look at this one.
Hey, how you doing? right off the back, I just want you to know I'm a strong, independent man. I don't need a woman. I want one. I had a kid when I was 18, young and dumb, yada yada yada. 3 baby mamas, 4 baby. It don't matter. Do you own a passport? I can be a little indecisive. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if I want to be here right now.
My body count doesn't matter at all.
So I do have a 90-day rule.
I'm a PhD.
So how much do you weigh? I mean, I'm probably a little overweight,
But I still consider myself a 10.
I'm not here to play games. Don't waste I don't even have a watch. Don't waste my time. I like dating women that make like $300K, $350 a year. Do you make $350 a year? That simply won't do.
That's what it's like today. That's...
I'm a strong, independent man.
Oh, you ready for this one?
I don't know, am I?
If this fucking mouse will work. Good goddamn.
Damn smart. How come they the only motherfuckers that's constantly getting conned and lied to get in the situation they in? Y'all claim y'all are smart as men, but y'all the only people who say, oh, he told me to do this and he talked me into this. When a man gets screwed over, they say it's your fault.
You should have seen it coming.
Should have seen it coming. So why is it we can't say to these women, because let me tell you a stat that should shock you, all of you. Did you know there are 2 times as many black women with children than black men?
Man.
What does that tell you? Well, I'm going to interpret that for you.
Here we go. Okay.
It tells you that women are fucking the same man.
Boom. Damn.
So y'all know he ain't shit, and you fuck him because you in competition with that other ain't shit bitch to have that ain't shit nigga baby. Because you just saw a video on Instagram of Future, who you know got 9-11 kids, talking about how hard it is for him on Valentine's Day with all these bitches, and bitches jump right on the video to be there with him. So don't tell me how great women are. Don't tell me how women care about marriage. Don't tell me how women care about society, because if they did, the last thing you do is continue to reproduce with somebody you know has shown he is not a father, but you do it because you want to. There's a lot of women who can tell you right now, I had a good man, but he was lame. I had a good man, but it wasn't exciting. Because let me tell you something. A nigga that's in a thug and a jailbird, he'll fuck you better than I can.
Oh, yes, sir.
Because all he got is time. If women are damn smart, how come?
It's a damn shame.
It's a fucking shame.
It's a damn shame. All right, one more video and then we can get out of here. Let's see what she's got to say.
A relationship truly only works when a woman settles for a man that she considers mid.
That would be, of course, mid women settling for mid men.
I used to talk so much about girls who settled, and now I hope to become one.
She used to reach out of her league, and now she is aging, so she hopes to grab somebody on the way down.
Because when a woman does the opposite and falls in real love with someone she's attracted to and who's at her level, it's a disaster.
Here's where she gets confused. Attracted to and at her level are not the same thing unless you're up here. It's a disaster because you're going out of your league and he doesn't really want you.
That's when the power dynamic and balance gets thrown off kilter because the man doesn't hold her on a pedestal.
Yes, we all know that putting her on a pedestal is the best way to get what you want. Women love men who are below them.
So she never has the upper hand.
Exactly, because this is what you do when you have the upper hand.
And that makes her feel crazy, delulu, out of control.
Yes, Michael Sartain told me yesterday that's called dread. I was on his podcast. I'm going places.
Because what we're supposed to do as women is just like being receptive.
So now she's mocking the idea of respecting the man that she chose, which is a pretty good idea as long as he treats you well.
Like allow him to pursue us and chase a relationship.
What do you think about that one?
I just don't like when women mock anything. Like, do you want a man or do you want to be the man? And like, just say that. Just say you want, like, I don't know. Just say you want to talk shit the rest of your life.
Don't be so tired on camera.
I know, right? People are like, she never pays attention. She's always yawning.
Yeah, that's funny. They gotta watch the whole episodes when I post the snippets.
I know. I'm like, fuck.
Like,
why
she's
would
not
you?
paying any attention, and I'm like,
I know she's on her phone. I was like, I was literally looking something up. God, I know I need to like focus and have my fucking podcast etiquette because people be talking shit. But it's okay because bad press is still press. They're
Anyway.
like, who's this ugly bitch? Relax.
They better not say that.
Relax.
Otherwise, you're going to get some pain and suffering.
That's okay. God protects me.
All
I
right.
know I'm beautiful.
Well, let's get out of here.
All right.
What do you think? Good show?
Good show.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next week. Hopefully with some fucking guests. People like, share, subscribe, follow. Follow.
We have things coming in the works.
We've got a bunch of shit going. Follow.
Opportunities.
Follow. All of those pages. And for people I invite to the fucking show, we're just talking. Stop being so fucking scared. Nobody cares what you have to say. And after the episode's watched, that's it. It's not like, I mean, people do go back and watch it, but like, don't nobody give a fuck about you. No one gives a fuck about me. So why do you care what you have to say on here, how it looks for a day or two? Like, it's not that big of a fucking deal. My most viral clip on Instagram is me and her. It has nothing to do with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, just come on the fucking show. Have some fun. Have some conversations. Learn some shit. Because at the end of the day, this is how I look at everything. Two things. Don't bitch about results you didn't get from work you didn't do. Because you reap what you fucking sow. Okay? Your way ain't working. If you don't have what you want, if you're not living the life that you want, try something different, because the way you've been doing it ain't fucking working. So maybe come on here and get some fucking game. Get some advice. Try something new. Try something different. See if you can shake shit up a bit and make shit happen for yourself. Because if you're gonna keep doing the same things, you're gonna keep getting the same results. And if you don't like the results, why do you keep doing the same things?
At this point, this should be like a singles podcast because we've had a few dating situations come from people who have been on the podcast.
Get fucking relationships coming in here.
Because they get game on high value man stuff and how to be that and court women or be in the relationship, but also women who are like, you know what, maybe I have gone about it in a way that isn't
conducive.
Yeah, getting me the results that I want. So there's been a few women who have
You're gonna take anything from today. If you want an exceptional man, you need to be exceptional to him, not exceptional like him.
Boom.
Okay? Because what he wants is common. What you want is rare. So how do you become rare to him to separate yourself from all the common shit that women have to offer that type of man? Anyway, I'm out of here.